Hi, Zizaran here with a Marauder for the Gauntlet, and this is going to be a Gauntlet tutorial. If you don't know, the Gauntlet has 20% monster damage, 2 additional proj, 20 less damage taken, attack, cast, and move speed, and 20 pen. So really hard, and particularly hard on Marauder and Templar. I've already done Templar while striving to show that that can be done. A lot of people are struggling with it. Templar is slightly easier than Marauder, so I want to show it on Marauder because it is the same idea. So we are going to take out some spitters first. We just ideally don't really want to have any spitters. They are way more annoying, and we can always use zombies to get charges later on. We'll have auto attack here too because we do want to use that. Zombies, we always leave alone. Honestly, going around and clearing, let's see how many monsters are remaining here. Clearing a bunch of spitters before starting is actually a pretty good idea. And finding any gear is going to help you massively. So you don't want to wear a chest, that'll make you slower to dodge, but everything else is pretty good. Anything else is pretty good. Oh, doesn't have attack in place on that one, so it's kind of annoying. Beautiful. So now we've got some gear that is going to help more than you would believe. And obviously mana we will regain over time, but looting the corpses and stuff, getting deal with would be good for more attack speed. But yeah, and we can heal up here because zombies are pretty okay. Oh, I actually got hit. It's annoying. There it is. You're probably not going to get anything with regen or anything like that. But yeah. Oh, they have more armor. So let's see if there's any spitters that we need to take care of before we go in, because we can use the zombies for potions if we need to. But these are just bad. Alright, there you have it. I'm going to use my final life loss that I really want to use here. And then we're going to kill some zombies. Oh. Maybe I have to use one more. That's not good. It's the attacking place that throws me. There. Alright. They're all dead. We have some life loss left. And obviously we have a bunch of zombies that we can go and get more of. So we have Maven and Hillock at the first time here. Speed. These are very scary. Now, the first stage of Hillock is very okay. Very scary. Oh. You just want to get into the rhythm of running around him. Counterclockwise, very important. And then anytime anything spawns, pull him out of it. Speed. Protect. Entropy. I'm using auto attack to save my mana for the other stage. Quicken. See, these are scary. I do think they do explode on the road. Yeah. Gotta be really careful about staying close to him. I will show what happens if you don't. He will jump and summon zombies. And obviously be very careful Like, here it really shows you the power of staying close to him and not panicking. The main mistake that most people are doing is running away from him. And as you see, like, the one with the things coming out of it, it really isn't too bad. It doesn't do that much damage depending on your positioning. So, again, try to stay very close to him. Remember that you can over level, and that'll help a lot. And remember, you can go leave 1 XP off leveling, and then when you need to, go back in and kill that. So obviously, there's a lot of people here that are just dying repeatedly. It is quite hard. But what we're going to do in this video is we're going to go over a lot of the different bosses. I have like a full spreadsheet here that we're going to go over of everything that's changed. Are you an aspiring hacker? Do you enjoy watching Netflix with your girlfriend? Are you being censored or limited in what content you can access? And the worst thing of all, are you disconnecting due to bad server routing, preventing you from beating Ben in the gauntlet? Well, NordVPN has solutions to all of your problems and more. So if you're traveling from America to another country, but you still want to keep up with your favorite shows, you can do that using Nord, leaving you to access everything that you normally want to while on the move. Sometimes your routing to a server can be less than ideal, and you can use NordVPN to change this to make sure that at least you have a stable connection. NordVPN also features 24/7 customer support, so they're always there to help you. A huge thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring the gauntlet. It helps make the prize pool bigger, and it's so cool to see these big companies coming in and helping out. Make sure you check out their tunneling bounty. It's a really cool one. Use code Zizaran today. It's 4 extra months, a big discount, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not happy with the product, you get your money back. So to start, we can see here, and we are, this is from the cast, so we'll be going through and showing everything. Hailrake is doubled, so I think Jung is probably going to be the first to see it. Ben is here fighting double Hailrake. So it does depend what skill you are, and you will see a recurring theme here of what is strong and what isn't. You can split them off. You don't want to get close to them. Normally you can just run around them in a circle, but when there's two, obviously you can't. Cobra Lash, anything with like some range, splitting steel, anything where you can keep them at a long distance was really good against that. Right, now next up, let's show Brutus. That is, well, I mean, you can see the first part, Rise QT was fighting, and that is Cole, very much similar to normal Brutus. But once you actually kill Cole, then you have to go fight Brutus in his old room, but he's joined by the Hydra totems. So actually quite a hard fight. They don't do that much damage. So the number one thing that was getting people killed here was trying to dodge the Hydra cold resist things. Obviously, if you have a Sapphire Ring by now, they won't do much damage. But most people are dodging into the slams and dying from that. So Brutus, very, very different than normal. I will also not have a clip for absolutely everything, but another thing that we saw was Fairgraves was really scary. We did see Karn insta-dying to that. It basically summons 2 SRS summoners, and they just one-shot. It's like the ghost ship thing, I think. But yeah, it's Fairgraves you might want to overlevel for. It does insane damage. It one-shot Karn. So be very careful for Fairgraves. That might be something to go back to at level 20 or 18. Just to be careful. Here we have Ben doing Marvale, and in the first stage, it is just larger statues. They're like Soul Eater statues, I guess. The second stage, however, is a lot scarier. The large explodey squids, they fracture on death, and they're basically Chaos Orbs, right? It's the, I don't know what they're called. It's like the Russian dolls. But you'll see here, they're a lot bigger. They do a lot of damage. I've seen a few people die to them. And yeah, you can see that they keep summoning the smaller ones. So, very scary. You just don't want to get hit by them. Ben had a lot of damage. He overleveled a lot. It's been really interesting because we've seen people that are maybe newer to the gauntlet have actually been struggling quite a lot. So one of the things we saw as an example was, I think for Act 4 Malachi, I think Ben was like 43, 41, something like pretty high 40s, but we've seen other people that are newer to the gauntlet go in and try to do him at 37. and with less gear. So overleveling is very big. We've seen anyone that is overleveling, like the best racers were doing this, by the way, like literally Ben was doing this, have had such an easier time because they aren't in the fight for anywhere near as long. The 3 bandits, pretty cool. So we have Kratin was basically Veritania, and remember you have to do the bandit in one sitting. Oak, pretty easy. It looks very scary, but he's just the delirium boss, so he doesn't heal with the endurance charges like normal, but he is pretty okay, really. He does die pretty fast. It dies faster than normal Oak. Does decent damage. Kratin is Veritania, like I said, and Alira, we're gonna show next. But Alira is a Beyond boss. Alira is probably the hardest off the bandits. Most people were helping Alira. Obviously getting resist capped very early on. Yassi was one of the few people we saw that was actually fighting Alira, which is the hardest bandit. He was helping Oak. Oak does look very scary, but yeah. So she gets a shield. Alira gets a shield around her, which becomes immortal until you kill the Beyond boss. Look how excited we are. It was fun. We had a really good time with this. Honestly, it's been so cool. And we probably will leave some things out by accident in this video because I'm trying to do it before waking up for the cast. Hopefully it helps some people. It doesn't mean that if a boss isn't in this video, it doesn't have anything special. I just forgot it because we just quickly made a list. But yeah, basically the Beyond boss here, it didn't seem to do an insane amount of damage, but it did seem to be the hardest one. Do remember you have to do this in one sitting. You can't portal out. This brings us to one of the hardest things in the gauntlet, and this is Val Oversoul. It ended up being a huge filter with a large amount of people dying. A lot of people said that it looked incredibly easy, but gotta remember that Ben is overleveled and has loads of damage. So a lot of people were going in at normal levels, like 22, 23, to Val Oversoul, and they were just getting smashed. Because if you can't kill all the architects that Val Oversoul spawns, a lot of people ended up fighting 10, 15 architects, and they were just getting absolutely owned. And the fight would take, instead of 20 seconds like here, there were people that were doing 4 or 5 minute Val Oversoul kills. So again, over leveling, I cannot stress how important it was, and literally the best players in the game were severely over leveled for some of these fights and very geared. So very, very important. Val Oversoul is one of the things we've seen the most deaths to. Dominus, pretty straightforward. One of the easier modified fights. Piety as well in Act 3. Both of them are pretty easy. Piety just has some extra minions. And here we have the Elder Circles. Now, we don't know how much damage they do. They're pretty slow at expanding and stuff like that. So nobody's gotten hit by one so far, but it could very well be that they one-shot. But there's nothing in the second stage. But yeah, Elder Circles here, as you can see. So that's pretty cool. But they are expanding pretty slowly, so they're hard to get hit by. Next up is incredibly fucking cool. We have Dareso, and honestly, one of the cooler things, I'm gonna move myself away here. But we can see Ben in the top right fighting that, and yeah, it does that. So very cool. It's so exciting to see, and just I love how much effort GGG put into this one. Standing in the middle here helps a lot. It doesn't seem to actually, not with that, not against one, but like with all of them out, it seems like perfectly in the middle of the arena, it doesn't hit. So that's a bit of a trick you can use there. Comb summons a bunch of extra like cremation geysirs, I think. So just more fire damage. Be careful. Definitely be fire risk cap for Comb, but not as bad a fight. Not as bad a fight. Just especially easy to deal with damage. You won't even notice it. Next up, we have a very large filter for the gauntlet. This is Doedri. Deidre. Doedri has proximity shield. So yeah, quite scary. I think it's a I think it's a proc shield that also slows you inside, like temporal chains. I can't remember, but yeah, I think it has a temp chains proximity shield. I think he hovered over it for a second there. He hovers over it so little. Now it is very easy with Ben's build. Hover over it. I dare you. Oh, you have severely lowered action speed, and your cooldown take longer to recover. Yeah, so temp chains proximity shield, and obviously she has a Temptane's Curse too. So very, very bad. We saw things like Sunder with Alkaiser was very, very slow to fire off in there. And yeah, in general, I would say this is one of the harder things. Honestly, this alone is making me think my Gauntlet playthrough will be the build Ben was playing because it bypasses the proximity shield. Armor Brand was pretty good at it too. Decoy Totem helps a lot. And obviously, everybody should be using Decoy Totem in the Gauntlet. But another thing that's huge is Decoy Totem with multiple totem support. Now, you will not be able to summon 2 decoys at the same time, but what you will be able to is summon another decoy once your cooldown is up. So I would recommend it because by over leveling, your decoy will be so high that it will not die easily, and then you will actually be able to have 2. So here we have Malagaro. What he does is he has the your life and energy shield cannot recover above 50%, so really, really bad for Righteous Fire builds. And on top of that, he like does the Flicker Strike thing on top of you. So pretty scary. Shavron has the Lightning Mirage and the blue mana circle thing, mana siphoner. So honestly, Shavron's pretty okay. And obviously she's scary with multi-proj. No, she's not that okay. She's pretty mean. But not as bad as Dodri. Again, see how easy it is to deal with high damage. There will probably be a few people watching this kind of pissed off because they didn't go in over level, they went in on level, and they probably had a really hard time. Here we have Rise going up against Malachi. So pretty fucked. It has the memory, sorry, not memory game, the Maven circles from the last stage of Maven at Malachi at the same time. Very cool. Second coolest fight in the campaign. They have the same ability as in the 3rd stage of Maven, where if you touch them, you cannot recover life or energy shield. Generally, players would log out from this. We did see a lot of people without log out macro just dying. Trying to portal out works as well. Obviously, remember you can hotkey your portal. But yeah, high damage, really, really big for this. Malachi is also known for being a very desyncy fight, and that did sadly end up killing people as well. It's a feature. But yeah, here you see Arias getting clipped by the no regen. Very scary. Choosing to stay in. But yeah, very, very scary. And sometimes we'd see people be hit by that, go low, and use all their potions. Second stage also has this. So yeah. Good luck. It's a tough one. This is why you really, 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 really want to overlevel. Really, really, really overlevel. A very, very big tip, and you'll see most people doing this, but staying in Chamber of Instance all the way to like level 55 was very common, getting a large amount of HP, and obviously Kitava was pretty spicy. So here we see Rice going back into Kitava, and the two things that are different in Kitava, it has the degen circles from Malachi, but the heart fires Piety Beam everywhere. So it doesn't do an insane amount of damage. We did see a few people die to it, but it's not like an insane amount of damage, but it applies Corrupting Blood, and it makes people panic. So yeah, Act 5, pretty sketchy. Definitely be very careful there. Here we see Ben against Brine King, and it fires out loads of waves. I think they mostly push you more so than do a lot of damage. There's loads of AoE in this act, so gotta be really careful. See how big the lightning is? A lot of people would bypass this stage just by portaling in and out and being AFK until the stage was done. And obviously you can throw a new portal down while safe, so that's fine. Also, the Brine King's slam is, in addition to the normal slam, also drops an anchor on you. So a lot of damage, probably something that can kill you, to be honest. And again, like, you're seeing a lot of these fights be pretty different, but I cannot stress enough how much you deal easier with this by over-leveling and over-gearing. If you only have to be in the fight for 10 seconds and nothing can one-shot you because you've over-leveled, you're going to have a good time through all of the campaign, and it'll just be really cool. Whereas under-leveled, it'll be the most stressful fights you've ever had. Next up, we have Shavron and Brutus, and throughout the entire fight, you have these beams that apply Corrupting Blood. They apply them very fast. If you don't have Corrupting Blood immunity, obviously getting 10 stacks of Corrupting Blood does a lot of damage. So be very careful. They aren't like, they don't do too much damage if you have corrupting blood immunity. The beams themselves don't seem to be killing people. It's mostly that they apply the stacks. So you just have to blink through them a lot, be careful, and be ready to portal out to reset your stacks if you don't have bleed immunity. Other than that, the fight's pretty much the same as before. Obviously, remember, this is a very particularly scary fight because it's Fizz is extra chaos and it's a lot of Fizz in that fight. But pretty doable otherwise. But this brings us to the coolest and hardest thing, in my opinion, in the gauntlet. And these mini fights don't have anything different. But, and this is a sketch one. This is Puck against Act 9. He was the first one to do so. And this was the only thing that we saw every competitor actually look up before going in. Mostly people were going in blind, but for this one, people were like, oh, you really want to look at Pox first before you go in. And you'll see why here in a second. He was not crazy overleveled. He went in very early on an Elementalist. So that is indeed the brain from Maven. So there's a few different things here. You obviously have the lightning there like normal, but you have the puddles. They never ever disappear. They're there for the entire fight. So you can break the arena by panicking. Then you have the Maven balls around the arena. They hurt and do a lot of damage. On top of that, I'm pretty confident I saw Shakari, the Scorpion, do a slam at some point. So there's a lot happening here. I think he went back like 2 or 3 times. As you can see, the arena gets pretty messed up, gets saved by logout macro and good reactions, and he had to go back a lot, and he did end up having to reset the entire fight. And just really, really fun to watch, really hard. We've seen a lot of people die to it, even overleveled. It is so hard. More than anything, you guessed it, you need more damage for this one. You really want a lot of damage. It's so hard. The next one is Act 10 Kitava, and honestly, Act 10 Kitava, pretty easy compared to Act 9. Act 9 boss. It is just the beams. So it's basically the same as Act 5 Kitava. So it has those beams. So honestly, pretty doable. Pretty doable. You do still have to kill the heart. That never leaves. Pretty doable, pretty happy. Very cool campaign from Runic Games. The only other things we've seen so far is that the Exarch has 3 shapers firing beams at you. Eater Worlds is area denial. I don't know how that's going to work on the Uber version. I think the Uber version will get very fucked up with that, and it drops an anchor on you. So the Eater version's messed up. I really don't know. The normal version I think will be fine because it's not as scary to not be able to move in areas. But yeah, Exarch, the Shapers will do so much damage on the Uber version, so good luck to all the contestants. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the gauntlet so far. There probably are a few other things that are forgotten. I know there are, like Grithkul has like Elder Portals and it's kind of hectic. There are scary things during the campaign. You got to be really careful. Izaro is fine. Izaro is normal. But either way, that's the most of it. So good luck. Thanks for watching. Sub if you liked the video. But more importantly, try to die less than you do.